the worst product I've ever seen in my life. People are buying incubators that can literally cook a kitten to death. I'm Hannah Shaw, the founder of Orphan Kitten Club, a nonprofit that works with shelters and rescues to save the lives of kittens, and we have provided over 100 incubators all across America. Now, an incubator usually runs about $1,200 to $1,500, and this summer we started getting requests for incubators that only cost $70 to $80. I thought, what kind of incubator only costs $70 to $80? It sounds potentially dangerous, and I knew I wanted to get a couple of them to test out for safety. I ordered 2 versions, and this is what they look like. It's basically a clear plastic box with a lid on it, and then there's a very hot light bulb at the top. This is the 1 bulb version, and then there's a 3 bulb version. There's no way to set a temperature. It's basically just using this incredibly scalding hot light bulb to heat up the space. That's really different from the mechanism that most incubators use. Usually, incubators use a forced air system that creates a uniform temperature throughout the space. Incubators are also usually thermostat controlled, which means you can set them to a specific temperature, and then the thermostat sensor will constantly monitor and adjust accordingly to make sure that it stays at that stable temperature that you have set. That's really important because throughout the day, the ambient temperature of the room changes. Maybe the light comes through the window and heats up the area more. With a thermostat, it will adjust and keep it at that temperature. Whereas with this, it's a set it, forget it, and kill your kitten. With these cheap incubators, you're not getting that consistent temperature throughout. You're getting directional heat coming from a physical bulb right here. So it is very hot, and I mean scalding to the touch. The light bulb itself is over 200 degrees. It is incredibly scalding hot. So if you touch it or if the kitten touches it, it's going to cause serious burns. But the worst thing is that with no thermostat, you have to basically be monitoring it all day. And I mean by the minute. You have this little kind of way of adjusting here. You can set it to high or low, but this is not accounting for what temperature it is in there. This is just accounting for the strength of the light bulb. That really is proving to be super variable as I'm testing this out. Now, they do give you a thermometer that you're meant to put inside and monitor. So this circular thermometer comes with the product, and then this wire is going to my external thermometer that I use, which is a bit more accurate. I myself use external thermometers with my own incubators. Even though my incubators have a thermostat, I always have a second external thermometer as a fail-safe. These ones are really good. They have a cord that goes inside of the incubator. It is very accurate. It is very quick to respond. So as the temperature is changing, it goes up and down accordingly. So I decided to test with their thermometer and with my thermometer to see how similar they were. Right away, these things began to dramatically heat up. So theirs is reading 85 while mine is reading 99.9. The thermometer they provided was really slow to catch up, while my thermometer was going up rapidly, way higher than an incubator should go. For kittens, you want to set your incubator at between 80 to 90 degrees, depending on the age of the kitten and the situation. But this thing heated up to over 100 degrees within 2 minutes. And from there, it just kept going up and up and up. And at a certain point, their thermometer literally broke, while mine just kept rising. This single bulb version got to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and the triple bulb version got to over 170 degrees. For reference, the internal temperature of a well-done steak is 160. So that temperature is well done for a steak, but not well done for a kitten. That's gonna be a dead kitten. It also has very little air exchange. It just has these tiny little holes across the bottom, which are completely covered by the bed that comes with it. And then it has 2 small holes up here. These are supposed to be for porting in oxygen or nebulizer. I don't know, maybe for a nebulizer, but there's definitely not enough room for exchange here. And when I think about oxygen, I mean, that is a really expensive and complex supply. I would like to think that if somebody is using that supply, they would not be using such a terrible box with it. It's obvious to me that this was made by somebody who has no experience working with baby animals whatsoever, both by its design and by what came with it. Okay, let's take a look at what comes with this. It came with all these other weird supplies that made no sense, like this gigantic oxygen mask. This thing would only fit on a human or a large dog, neither of which are gonna be hanging out in this tiny box. It also came with a pill dispenser that's labeled as a feeding kit and all these weird knockoff supplies that don't actually work. There's a heating pad in case you need more heat. As somebody who cares for kittens full time, I have to say this thing made me feel like I was playing with some kind of Fisher-Price toy for kids. I mean, it's an approximation and something you could play pretend with, but it's not pretend. People are really buying these things and putting kittens in there, and that's so scary. Long story short, unless you're trying to keep your food warm, make fruit leather, or kill a kitten, don't buy these things. You don't need to have an incubator to save kittens. Most foster parents don't. I fostered for 7 years before I started my nonprofit and got my first incubator, and I'll show you exactly what I used and what I would recommend for you. I recommend that you just have a bin like this that's open on the top, and then inside you're going to put your heat pad. This one's called a snuggle safe. That goes on one end, and then you just take your baby blanket, lay it over there, and now your kitten has a warm spot and a cool spot they can go back and forth. Of course, make sure that you're not covering it. Air exchange is really important, but this is a very affordable way to care for a kitten, and you do not need one of these torture chambers, trust me. If you're a foster parent, get yourself a snuggle safe. These things are $30, they're gonna last you forever. You just pop it in the microwave, heat it up for a couple minutes, it stays warm for a really long time, and you can save so many kittens in a safe way with this. If you're not a foster parent, but you're interested in helping kittens stay warm and cozy, I have a really meaningful way that you can help. Right now, Orphan Kitten Club is aiming to send safe heat sources all across America, and we're doing a fundraiser at donate.orphankittenclub.org/heatwave. You can help us provide a heat disc to a kitten in need, and we're going to be sending these to foster programs from coast to coast. So thank you for contributing. I'm super glad that I was able to test these out and find out just how dangerous they are. I hope that this has been helpful for you, and if you're interested in learning more about safe heat sources, definitely check out my website and my other videos for more information. Oh my gosh, were you behind me this entire time napping? I didn't even know. Thanks for watching.